Well, nothing like a good old-fashioned uplifting movie like Civil War during this election year. We're going to tell you how it is. Stay tuned.
Rest in peace, Sammy.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fly By Night Reviews. I'm your host, Kiren.
I'm Dom.
Today, me and Dom are reviewing Civil War. This one was directed by Alex Garland and starring Kirsten Dunst. But before we start, just want to let you know that got back from India finally. It was a long trip. It was a couple weeks, but it felt like, 2 years basically. But it's good to be back. I know we've been kind of, obviously lacking on videos, and but we're, hopefully this is like the start of, more videos. Hopefully soon. I know a lot of movies are coming out. But yeah, let's get started with the review. Dom, what did you think?
That was intense. There was, that was a lot of. Some of it got a little too close to home, and then of what could be, or yeah.
I was kind of putting off watching this movie for a really long time, and I actually started watching it on the plane on my way back here to the States, and I kind of stopped about 10 minutes in because I was like, okay, this is a little bit too dark. I don't need to be watching this kind of movie, but like after leaving India and all that stuff. So I just kind of like decided, hey, I'm gonna like maybe watch it later or whatever. And I'm glad I did because I was able to kind of focus more on it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. It was a little bit too real, like you said. It was kind of like it could happen in real life, especially in this day and age. Like it was almost like it felt like this can happen, so this is like a warning. And I know a lot of people probably watch this movie thinking like, there's a certain population that probably like is like hoping for some sort of civil war or whatever.
Right.
I, for one, I'm like dreading it. I mean,
there's definitely things that's like, I can totally see that happening. That got really almost a little too close to home. But no, it definitely brought up a lot of interesting questions, and it was.
Yeah, I think the whole angle of kind of, and so it wasn't like really based on it wasn't the war aspect of the Civil War or this.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically California and Texas sort of kind of like team up, I guess, against the U.S. government. It's like it's basically it's like against the president is against his own people, or he's against his own people, and
there's the California, Texas. There's something with Florida, and then there's the Midwest.
So there's all these different factions that are going on, and the interesting part, it's from the perspective of these journalists, Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Spaney, who we've seen in Alien Romulus, who did a really good job in this. And also Wagner Moura, he was in this show called Narcos. Okay. He played Pablo Escobar, and he was pretty awesome in this as well. But it was like very gray area. Like there was no sides in this movie.
Right. They didn't go into like the whole reasoning of why there's a civil war. I mean, nothing like overtly like, oh, this is why we're going against each other. They're just, this is what's going on, and this is them following whatever they can.
It's kind of like you're dropped into the middle. It's already been going on for I think like 12 years because they mention the president, who's actually played by Nick Offerman,
in his third term.
Yeah, his third term. So I figured, okay, it's about 12, 15 years or whatever. So yeah, it's not really, it doesn't explain why. It's more of just like, this is the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of encounters that these journalists, encounter that you kind of like, who's the enemy, who's on their side, who's against them. So in a way, it was like, it felt kind of like you didn't, even the journalists themselves, you felt like were not really good people, but they were also like I guess the only people that we were kind of like invested in, so we had no choice but to sort of like side with them, I guess.
Right.
But they did some questionable stuff, like to get certain shots and photos and this and that.
There was definitely stuff I'm like, really, would you really be you gotta get down, don't go there. There's definitely spots where it's like, would they get down? You're in the wide open. You're a sitting duck.
Oh yeah. There was. I mean, the action in this was like really well done. It was like, I have a decent sound system at my house, but like overall, like it was intense. Like you hear the gunfire, and it's like at any moment you don't know what was going to happen, if like one of these characters was going to get shot or whatever. And I think that was.
Yeah, I kept on. Yeah, one character in particular, I kept on thinking, "Oh, they're gonna get shot. They're gonna shot. Is this where they get shot?"
Yeah, it was very well done in that sense. And I hear it was only made with $50 million, which is like freaking mind blowing to me, because especially the ending scene.
Okay, then whatever criticisms I had with some of those, because I can tell like some of it was like CGI, and like, yeah, if that's the budget, then. I don't have complaints on that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
But that's a nitpick.
Yeah, I knew it was A24 is not the, like, they don't have the most money to put into movies, but I guess this was, like, the most money they've actually invested in a movie before, so it definitely, I could tell there was a lot of, effort to make it look good. But yeah, but I think the moral of the story wasn't necessarily, like, us against them. It was more of, like, a warning. Kind of like to everybody, like that this could happen. Like we've seen it happen in other countries.
Devolve into when in a war situation.
Yes, yeah, it was very much like one of those post-apocalyptic zombie shows or like movies.
Yeah.
But there are no zombies. There's just like just people killing each other.
Yeah.
And
well, like the zombies aren't the worst thing in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like the human, obviously the human side of the zombie apocalypse, which, like you said, is like that's more frightening than the zombies themselves. But anyway, this movie is streaming on Max at the moment, so I highly recommend watching this movie. It's really good. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe below. Have you seen Civil War?
What are you looking forward to that's kind of just a little maybe darker than you would expect?
Terrifier 3. I'm gonna get this guy to come to the theater with me to watch that movie. Maybe we gotta catch up. But anyway, speaking of horror movies, I know you guys were eyeing this beautiful shirt that I'm wearing. Good friend of mine named Senda Shinoy. He has a company called Bollywood Crypt. They specialize in kind of Indian horror movies that not really well known, very kind of, an interesting market of horror movies, but he does have a website with a lot of merch. I'm going to leave a link below this description. But yeah, go check it out and tell us what you guys think of it. But anyway, it was great chatting with you, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.